is it you pray for?
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 61st episode of Abyssal Musings. My name is Sammy the Infamous, and with me are my co-hosts, Lawrence Knight.
Lawrence Knight.
Hi, Lawrence. And Know Me Without You.
Hi! I'm not Lawrence Knight.
Yeah. Salutations and greetings.
There you are.
So we have a jam-packed show for tonight, so we will get to that program here shortly. How are you guys doing?
Suffering from allergies, but you know, it's okay because it's Christmas and I'm ready to. Well, I've already. Sorry about that, folks.
I'm not taking any responsibility, YouTube, if she dies on stream.
If she dies, she dies.
Gosh, okay, so like my allergies, I have a runny nose and it went down my throat. That's what happened.
Yeah, post-nasal drip is a bitch.
Oh gosh, yes, it is.
Post-nasal drip. Post-nasal drip.
Well, what I was gonna say is that, you know, pray for your Mexican friends, you know, me, because it is tamale season, concha season, pozole, menudo, monelos. So I have gained like 10 pounds this week because where my primary work is, it's been a potluck every day, and I have eaten every single dish that everyone's bought. So I am fat.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're probably gonna fart most of that out, though, right?
Wait, should I be farting?
I don't know. Mexican food makes me fart.
If you're not farting and pooping, then you might want to consider going and grabbing a laxative.
Oh no, I don't call, you know, women don't poop, we glitter. So
I was married. Bullshit.
I am married. Bullshit.
Well, I don't know what kind of women you guys have, but
Human women.
You're a mythical creature, God, Samuel. How
Yeah,
can
but my
you be
ex-wife
married?
wasn't.
But yeah, no. So I've been your girl is regular. She is definitely, you know, has her movements. But as far as farting, I guess I'm just immune to it because I'm Mexican.
I guess. I don't know. I would be buying all my Mexican friends like air purifiers and shit. But yeah.
Wow, air purifiers.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be pretty thick, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
Well, that was early. Oh, jeez. You might drink some water.
Oh, I do have water here. You know what? Since it was early for me to start, I can start early on my ASMR drinking.
Oh boy,
good idea.
Tonight's beverage is water because you can't get enough of it, and you need to be hydrated all the time.
What type of water is it? Is it mineral water? Is it Aquafina, or is it like
It is.
I was about to say, it's not that nasty Dasani water.
Hold on.
Oh God. That's no.
This is the best ASMR.
You guys just got that for free.
Mikey came
right in my ear canals.
Michigan water.
Oh my gosh, and no one paid me for that, but it's okay.
I think I threw up in my ears.
As long as that bothered Samuel, that's all that I need. No, I am drinking purified water from Costco. So nothing crazy, but just
all right.
Regular water.
Let's on that horrendous note, let's say hello to the chat. Lawrence Knight first.
That's right.
Second,
Good
Corey
man.
Cochran. Kohai Masochist. Weekly reminder: your bones are constantly wet, so stay hydrated to keep them that way.
Go high. Go high.
Bones
Got
are liquid.
Clue Channel in the chat. Good to see you. Divided Kingdom. Good to see you. I think that's everybody at the moment.
Hold on. Cal's last comment. Americans and their bottled water. Okay, you UK people with your bottle of water.
They get so pissy when you say that.
Well, if they don't drink out of a bottle of water, then what do they drink out of?
Probably the tap, because their taps don't suck like ours do.
That's true, but also in the UK, maybe, well, all of Europe too. Like you have to pay to get water, which is stupid. Like if you get like, what is it? Can I? I was in Hungary one year, and they charged me for water at a restaurant. Like that is a God-given right. That like I have to have water.
Well,
I mean, it is, but like you're
in
talking
their
about a former
defense,
communist country.
hold on, Nomi. In their defense, you were in Hungary. Now, if you were in thirsty, then the water would have been free.
Oh my gosh.
That costs extra.
Hey, Caucasian Sasquatch. For those who haven't checked it out yet, over on his channel, he has narrated Shadow of Hawk's fantastic chronicling of the Pickle Stand War, and it's and he put music to it. It's great. Go check that out. Much better job of it than I did on last Saturday.
I
So,
still haven't watched this thing, this pickle stand thing that he's
Pretty
got going
good.
on.
it's pretty good. I mean, I read it out last Saturday, and I think I did a reasonable job. But then Squatch got a hold of it, and probably because I sent it to him, and then he, a few days later, yesterday, in fact, he posts a much higher quality reading than we did, or than Dermy did on his channel, or because it's been passed around more times than a pack of cigarettes in a prison yard. But yeah,
What is it, like a web comic or something?
no. So you remember me telling you a while back about that ridiculous meme war that we had on Twitter about pickles and back tacos and power couches and such?
Yeah.
Okay, so that all started on Devil Made Me Do Its channel over an argument about whether or not pickles were, worth eating. And it blew up into this whole thing and turned into a meme war on Twitter that I might have instigated.
Of course you did. Of course you
And
did.
anyway, so there's a lot of lore that got added to the internet in that period of time. And Shadow of Hawk went through, collated all of it, and wrote it out as a Game of Thrones style narrative that is both compelling and ludicrous at the same time.
By your standards or by everyone else's?
I think by
Correction.
everyone's.
By your standard or by a actual real standard?
No, I mean, like it's quite good. There's a few editing things that he kid's got a thing for run-on sentences, on which is where he's working on. But otherwise, yeah, no, it's pretty solid.
I'll message him. I can help him with that. I can help him.
Pretty
with
good. Well, he's got about half a dozen people talking with him and helping him out with stuff like that.
Yeah,
And the kid's
so,
got a
I don't
natural
care. I still
talent
talk to
anyway.
him.
So,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
don't care how many
I'm
people are
just
talking
saying.
to him. You
I'm
always just
saying.
saying, Samuel.
Well, yeah, we're all always just saying.
Yeah,
So
but you got
anyway,
the tentacles in everything.
check out Squatch's rendition of it. It's fantastic.
Of course it is. Squash did it.
Yes, he's very good. Anyhow, yeah, that's.
Hey, Squash said we could play an excerpt if you like. I say go for it. We got time
Well,
before we
I
get
can bring
into
it up here.
the meat and potatoes of tonight.
I gotta go find it. I don't have it pulled up right yet, but I will have it very shortly. And by very shortly, I mean not in 1 or 2 seconds. Just here we go. Give me a second. I got it. More than a second. Probably 5 or 6 of them. All right. Okay, that's really loud. Turn
Luke
that.
Casley's in the chat.
Hi, Luke Casley. Okay.
Sorry, my voice was going out in that moment. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now to bring it up on screen. All right. Hi, Luke. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, I guess Luke Casley listened to it too. Yeah, it's very good. Also, Squatch put music to it, which I believe we're cool with. But yeah, just letting you guys know. Everybody hears that okay?
Yes.
Yep.
The Chronicles of Pickle Stand, a Twitter story. As a warning, this is something much less serious than my other stuff. This is based on a meme war from Twitter amongst people in the community I stream with that I turned into a dark fantasy story because why the hell not? And I hope you enjoy. This is brought to us courtesy of Samuel the Infamous, by Shadow of Hawk 551, narrated by Caucasian Sasquatch. Like, comment, and subscribe. Forget dreams and wonder, for both are dead. The darkness that chokes the world has killed dreams and wonder. This is a world of spite, war, and hate. There are no heroes, only villains who are less vile than others. These are the Pickle Stand Chronicles.
We'll probably
The
go
Pickles
through the
of
first
Pickle
paragraph
Stand have
here.
always been a peaceful people, growing their young as cucumbers and then brining them in the salty waters of the Barrier Sea into pickles. They grow a variety of foods and trade them with foreigners, all ilks, as well as maintain the land-based trade routes that pass between the eastern and western continent. As major powers began to rise and fall, the Pickles found themselves under attack. Seaborne raiders from the anti-libertarian Marines, swamp-living witches, and heathens coming up from the south, and savage blonde-haired men with fur pelts and cowhide shields coming up from the lowlands to their southeast. They sought protection. They found it in the form of the Back Taco Kingdom. The Pickles, having no
We'll probably hold it off there. I'm going to put the link to this in the chat if you guys want to go check it out. It's quite good. Larry doesn't know this yet, but he's in it. So is Kohai.
Go high. Wait, who's in it?
You're
You
in
and
it.
Kohai.
Shadow. Okay. Well, you know what? I put it in my story. I'm flattered. I'm gonna message the kid and thank him. Yeah, in fact, I've got some ideas and I'm gonna bounce with him. Yeah, I'm proud of him, man. And I'm gonna go back and look at that. From what I can tell, Sasquatch sounds like he did a real good job.
Oh yeah, it's quite good. I really enjoyed it. I listened to it the other day, yesterday, I think, on my way home. It was very enjoyable.
Nice, nice. Well, we've definitely
So
So go ahead.
I was just gonna ask what the program looks like tonight.
So, guys, as you know, those of you who were around last week, Sam, Nomi, and myself were always constantly looking at ways to morph the show and add more versatility to it. And so, starting next month, what we're gonna start doing is we're basically almost turning into the X Files. We're gonna start looking at the weird, the scary, the unsolved cases, ghost tales and things that we're gonna see if we can make, either try to solve some cases, figure out, what likely happened, and make heads or tails of what we're of what we are faced with. We might even do some readings, these stories, the choose your own adventures. That all that's coming back. Unfortunately, the program that I was using, where I created the Curse of Kohai and all of that, found out that it was the cause of a bug that was wreaking havoc on my PC. So I had to delete it, lost everything, but that's okay because everything's in my head. As for tonight, we have some stuff on mobsters, killers, ghosts, and monsters. Uh, basically killers and mobsters that were haunted by the ghosts of people that they killed. Also, some history on hotels that are linked to mob activity. So, I kind of think of this as an intro into what we're going to be going into in January. This is just a little tidbit of it. Then we're going to have an intermission. We've got some upcoming movies that people may find interesting. There was a trailer. There was a couple of trailers that I saw when I went and saw Godzilla minus last week. One of which, and maybe you saw this. It's a movie that's coming out in January called ISS. It's based off the space station.
Actually, from what I've been hearing, everybody's been getting wildly different previews when they go see Godzilla -1.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like I saw Aquaman. Obviously, was one of the trailers that they showed. There was a movie called The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, where he goes and takes out deep state operatives, which looks actually kind of interesting and fairly masculine. There's a movie called The Boys in the Boat, which was about an 8-man rowing team in the during the Great Depression, which also looks fairly masculine. It kind of looks like masculinity might be making at least a tiny comeback in movies.
Well, they've lost too much money. So, but no, I didn't get any of that. I got ISS, and I got a upcoming horror movie called Imaginary, which is another trailer that I'm going to show, um, and another one that I can't remember. So, which means it was horrible, and I had no interest in watching the movie at all, and just put all my effort into forgetting what I saw. So I'll just leave that there. Um, so we got that, and then after the intermission, yours truly jumped in headfirst into our new branch of our new branch of format. So I drove down to San Antonio and I participated in a ghost tour, 2.5 hour ghost tour, and I actually created a PowerPoint, got the information and everything, and got some photos. And tonight, everybody's going to find out whether or not yours truly actually ran into a ghost, experienced anything, or did I just have a quiet night with, full of just walking around the city, driving around the city, and listening to somebody with a microphone in his ear. And that will be the night.
All right. Let's get started.
Alrighty. No me. Where you at,
Yeah.
No me?
I'm right here.
What you doing?
Blowing my nose. That's why I was mute for a while.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I could do it.
Well,
Don't do it.
actually, that is good. That is good ASMR material right there.
It is.
I will leave my own show.
You know what? I'm just reaching for my tissue box over here. Just in case I get a little sniffly and a little sneezy.
Oh,
Can't ever be too cautious. But yeah, they're just hanging out. I'm glad I can. It's been a while since I hung out with you guys on weekends, so I'm free to hang out with y'all.
nice. Well, I figured. Can you hear this? Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes, we can. And we have somebody in the background. Hold on just a second.
Who can it be? It's
The man of
Tom!
attraction. Welcome,
It's
Tom.
Tom.
I've actually
Attraction.
I met both of them, so at least I know what I'm looking at now.
Which one's the nicer of the two?
Kevin Smith, when I met him, he was still fat, so he's still nice. I realized the thinner a fat person gets, the meaner they get.
Yeah.
So that's why I stay nice and jolly. So as for Jason Mewes, he had no pants on.
Oh,
I don't know why, but he had no pants on. So he must have still been high as a motherfucker. I don't know if I can curse here. I'm sorry. I'll take that.
Oh yeah,
No,
you can
yeah,
you can swear as much as you like.
Cursing is allowed here, Tom.
But yeah, he walked out of a room pantsless, and there was another lady coming out afterwards.
Huh.
oh.
This was at a Comic-Con hotel room. So
He was still, getting wasted pretty regular though at the time, right?
Yeah, this was early 2000s.
Okay, yeah. So he hadn't gone to rehab
So
yet.
no, and I think I was like young. I shouldn't have been there at that age. Put it that way. My dad went to go see some people that were on chips, and I came along, and we was in the Javits Center in New York,
Mhm.
and this was about maybe 3 or 4 years after Dogma came out, and I mean at that point then they were both still in Jersey, or I think they still were living in Jersey. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they moved to California until around the time Clerks 3 came out, right?
No. Kevin moved to California Clerks 2 before
That's right.
Clerks 2,
I wasn't thinking Clerks 3. I don't know why I said 3. 3's not
but
finished yet.
but yeah, so he came out and there was one of the con. I recognized the cosplay. She was cosplaying as Poison Ivy, and she skedaddled out of his room after having some of his Ivy.
Yeah, I think that was
Oh,
he.
uh-huh.
I think that was
auditioning.
probably before he got married too.
I guess so. It was a very interesting, because my dad took me and my brother down. We stayed at the hotel to make things easier because it was in the city and we were up in the suburbs and we didn't want to deal with that. And we just were leaving for the next con day, and there's Kevin Smith coming out of a hotel room, and then there's Jason with his pants off and a girl running out kind of crying. It was weird. And I was 10. And it was weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably a bit much
Sorry
for
for bringing in a
10-year-old.
very odd story to be my introduction. Hi, how is everyone doing? We're talking Dogma. Have we got to the shit monster yet?
Well,
Well,
that's
we're getting ready to. I figured since we were talking about monsters, and I actually brought this up since
Oh, it
since
said the
Nomi,
shit demon.
Nomi was
Okay.
talking about being constipated earlier with all the food that she's eating, and
Yeah.
whether or not ladies actually poop or poop glitter. And since we're talking about mobsters and ghosts and everything that Nomi discussed earlier, I figured it'd be funny. It'd be a funny lead in.
What? A shit demon!
Doesn't it look like Ron?
that's like the worst part of that whole movie. It's just
Thing doesn't
gross.
even look real. Dude. Look at the eyes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Chet from Weird Science looked like a better shit monster than this did, but this was still pretty gross.
Yeah, he did. Oh, here's the gangsters.
For New York! Does this smelly fuck with us? He came for Bethany! Smoke that motherfucker like it ain't no thing!
Yeah, smoke
Yep.
like it ain't no thing.
Fun fact.
What?
Fun fact: the little guy standing next to Jay in that scene was the same dude who played I can't remember his name, the gay guy from Chasing Amy.
Huh. Well,
I never saw that movie.
he decided to represent in this one, so.
And they get their butts kicked thoroughly.
Yep. Up, down, sideways.
And there's shit everywhere. It's just, yeah, that scene is messed up.
Looks messed up.
It's not even the most, like, if you were to talk to a Catholic who watched, like a devout Catholic who watched that film, they would tell you that there was so much more wrong with that movie because it's frankly a kind of a masterful act of blasphemy all the way through. But
Yeah,
that one part was probably the only part that got to me. So this is gross.
And you think me burping in your ear is gross?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's not gross.
Don't believe him, Nomi. It's not gross. You could have made a lot of money off that.
I know. I did it for free. I can't believe that. That's like a good $100 right there.
Yep. See, as a Catholic, the movie still weirds me out. Nah, I get it. I do.
I
I
get
know.
it.
I know it bothered a lot of Catholics, especially all that stuff about the Buddy Christ and Cardinal Glick blessing his golf clubs to get a better game.
They did that in Caddyshack though too.
Yeah,
Like
they
that.
did.
I mean, there are some things that are callbacks to other movies that have used faith in weird ways. And
Sure.
even the
Yeah.
shit demon, they said it was just supposed to be about people could complain about shitty movie details.
Yeah,
But
no,
that-
and I'm with you on that. But if you were to sit down as a devout Catholic and watch that movie beginning to end, it's just like one long act of blasphemy.
Yeah. Okay. So I will give a full on. I was actually on track to be a priest before I
Wow.
changed in college. So I will say that I had a lapse of faith because of something which stopped me from becoming a priest. Long story short, but I understand where you're coming from, where people that are devout Catholics might be offended by it. But if I will say that if your faith is that easily offended, I would say that a movie is not the biggest concern.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'd agree.
First of all,
I'd agree.
George Carlin. So, funny side fact: George Carlin was a family friend. He went to high school with my grandfather. So, and Cardinal Bishop in the Bronx got kicked out of the school. He got kicked out of the Catholic schools. That's why he became a very outspoken against organized religion and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
dude,
no, fair
he's
enough.
very
I
smart
don't
about it.
disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree, Tom. And I'm not a Catholic. I'm not even a Christian. I just, I know a lot of Catholics and a lot of people were in fact upset by that movie, mainly because it is specifically talking about Catholic dogma
Yeah.
throughout. I mean, it wasn't just poking, fun at Christians or religion in general. I mean, it was doing that too, but it specifically honed in on what Kevin Smith himself had experience with, which was, Catholicism. He went to Catholic school.
Yeah. So same with Damon and Affleck and all of them. They know what they're talking about. It's not like they don't know what they're talking about in the movie in terms of how to satirize it in some way.
Sure. Kohai is going to dip out early tonight, not feeling well. Well, we hope you feel better.
Yeah,
Feel
Kohai.
better, Kohai. I'm with you.
Yeah, I messaged her on Twitter and just told her, I said, hey, feel better. Be sure to watch the replay, because I know she wouldn't want to miss what I'm going to talk about with the ghost.
Yeah, she rewatches all of the stuff. It's those quizzes that you do that are about like past shows on this channel.
Yeah.
There's a reason she kicks the shit out of all of us. She watches every minute.
Yeah, she does. She does. It's funny. Since we were gonna talk about mobsters as well, I wonder how many mobsters are Catholics.
Italians, so that would be considered if you think about the mafia.
Yeah, most of the Italian ones are absolutely Catholics. If you're talking like Russian mob, you're probably looking at Eastern Orthodox, or atheists, because they were also they outlawed religion for like 70 years in Russia. But so I'd say if you're just talking about the Italian mob, it's probably mostly Catholic. Yeah.
Now, next question: how do you reconcile that with the things that you're doing? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about in reality, but I know there's been a lot of mention of that made in movies, like for example, and this was a comedy, The Whole Nine Yards, where Bruce Willis's character Jimmy Tedeschi, who was Polish actually, but still Catholic, he didn't believe in divorce because it was a sin, but he was perfectly willing to kill his wife because till death do us part.
So he Henry VIII her.
Well, he tried. It's like you should see the movie, but it was an interesting thing because he was totally okay with killing, despite the fact that was one of the major 10 commandments not to do. But because in Catholicism, divorce isn't the thing, he felt that was really the only way out. One of them had to die.
Well, you could think about Al Capone, who was a Catholic, but he was last, and he became a capitalist and a Machiavellian in terms of his thought process as he got older and became more powerful. So I think it depends on the actual mobster. I do know that some things like Lucky Luciano was a big time mobster in New York during World War II. He helped protect the ports, and he had a comment he made, I think, in the papers. I'm trying to find the exact one, but he's sort of like, they asked him something and said, "Well, man made this law.
Mm-hmm.
I follow the laws that were made by someone higher than man."
Yeah,
So
well, that's true. And Lucky Luciano was also very good friends with a guy who went by Bugsy Siegel, who was Jewish.
yeah,
And they're two of the
Bugsy was
founding
Jewish.
two of the founders of Las Vegas, by the way.
I think it's sort of like you get away with, you do what you do and let them sort it out at the end. I don't think they
Mhm.
probably thought about it too much, but different time. You could say the same thing about Yakuza, right? They're considered a service sometimes over in Japan.
Well, very much they started the same way that the Cosa Nostra did in Italy.
Yeah.
They were a group of people who basically they were civilian militia who stepped up because the magistrates weren't doing their jobs. Later on, they kind of got twisted into something different, but yeah, originally they were kind of a neighborhood watch thing, a little bit more brutal, obviously.
You okay there, Nomi? Seem a little
Yeah,
quiet.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
listening to you guys. So thanks for checking in.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Nomi. You doing all right?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. Like just listening to y'all's dialogue is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Because
it is
I'm not
interesting.
a Catholic, so yes.
I would also say if you have a Dogma Blu-ray, it's about worth 5 times what it was before. So if you want to part with it, you can probably get about a good $200 maybe on eBay. Just saying.
Ooh.
Really?
I have it on.
They're not reprinting it because it was
got a-
Weinstein.
Yeah. Well, I've got a Dogma VHS tape. It's in pretty
That might
good
be worth
condition.
more because it's VHS. But yeah, sorry, I was just curious about that. I always look up when like there's an unprinted anymore movie, how much they're worth now.
Hey, D-Day, good to see you.
I wonder if the same thing with musical instruments. I have a 5-string Ibanez bass, and I found out after I bought it that not only was it the last guitar in that store, but it was the very last one that they had made of that model. It was literally the last one.
Hold on to it for a good 20, 30 years and see what it's worth. Or pass it down.
$501 because it cost me $500 to buy it.
It'd probably be worth more than that in a few years, especially given the rarity of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful guitar too. I mean, it's a beautiful bass. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting with because you would figure with all of the alleged activities that go on in the mob, how many of them have possible ghost stories? How many of them have been, plagued by the ghosts of people that they killed? So I started looking, and it turns out Al Capone reportedly was haunted by the ghost of a man he killed.
Was that during his stay at the penitentiary or was that after?
I believe it was during and after.
Okay.
Yeah, Clifton. Yeah. Do you have some details on that?
Yeah, I'm actually looking it up right now.
That was
So
interesting. This came about. We were having a conversation with Amira the other day about ghosts and gangsters and such, and Larry was just like, I wonder if there's any correlation there in history. So he started looking into it this week.
yeah, there's more correlation around the mansions and homes where a lot of alleged untimely deaths happened.
Mm-hmm.
But Al Capone, here it is. So on February 14th, 1929, 7 associates of the North Side Gang, including James Clark, met at a garage. 4 men, including 2 dressed as police officers, approached them. The policemen lined the gang members up against the wall and opened fire. All 7 were killed. While the massacre was never solved, it is believed that it was masterminded by Al Capone, leader of the rival Southside gang. Capone was arrested months later after the murder. Prison guards would later report that he would let out blood-curdling screams, shouting for Jimmy to leave him alone. The ghost followed him when he left prison. Capone hired a medium to get rid of the ghost, but she was unsuccessful. Later in his life, his bodyguards would hear Capone begging someone to leave him alone. When they went inside, Capone was by himself. He told his guards that he was being haunted by the ghost of James Clark.
Mhm. I see.
Interesting. I mean, I've been to the Eastern State Penitentiary. I've been to Capone's room when I went to college in Philadelphia. Like, I've been to his cell. That was a creepy place. I will give him that. I didn't see any spirits or anything because
Well, that's a disappointing.
I know. I thought I would. I did it at night too. They stopped
Mhm.
allowing you to do that.
To do tours at night?
Yeah, they used to do. You could actually pay. It was like $200 at the time to sleep in a sleeping bag in the cell overnight.
What?
This was in Alcatraz?
No, in Eastern State Penitentiary, where
okay.
Capone spent a good amount of time, I think.
Right.
In
No, I
Philadelphia.
just was thinking of because I had done one of those grand tours that they do out in Alcatraz back in like 1986. Now that, and they used to let you do all kinds of stuff that they don't now.
Yeah, you don't get as much participation. There is a friend of mine did in Minnesota. There is actually a gangster ghost tour based around the killing of a judge. I let's see. I think it's Landmark Center. I'm gonna look into it, but there's a whole like thing that happened where a courtroom got shot up, and there's a ghost tour based around it. I think he did that for his honeymoon, hot honeymoon. Oh, let's go see a gangster ghost thing. No counting for taste.
You know what? Some people were into that. When I went on a tour last night, I ran it. I met a company that was a couple that was on their honeymoon. A couple of elderly couples. I mean, one man, he looked like he was a few months away from becoming a ghost himself. You know, we even had people coming in from Canada.
When I was married, this is the kind of thing that my ex-wife would have wanted to do. You know, I mean,
go to ghost tours. Like, I think that'd be like a nice romantic date.
I guess it can be. She was a lot more into that sort of thing than I was. You know, and I suppose it depends on the region that you're in. Like out here in Wyoming, there's a lot of history in the land, but not all of it is clearly marked. If that makes any sense.
So if something rises up out of the ground, you don't know who it is because, well, the grave is unmarked.
Because probably, the person who put them in the ground there didn't stop to ask their name.
Also, Nomi, did the guy really want to be on a date and suddenly feel a chill and go, ah! And like suddenly this like look like completely emasculated to the girl? This doesn't make a good idea.
I mean, we could both freak out together. And then we can, like, once we ran back to the car, we can be like, oh my God, your scream was higher than mine. Ah! So.
But Nomi, you strike me as the type that when you get scared, your first reflex is to throw a punch or a kick.
Oh, no, that is 100% true. Yes. No, you're not wrong on that, Larry. Like, I have broken a nose before because someone popped over the corner and just like, bat right in the face and blood everywhere and broken nose and tears, and I apologized and they learned their lesson not to do that to me.
So have the tour guide in the way. Have the tour guide in the way.
Yeah. We can do that. But just and that's the thing too. Like with me, if you think it's a good idea to surprise me from behind, please don't do that.
I'm still on this whole like,
especially if you're a guy, please do not do that.
Yeah, that's definitely not a great idea to do while you're alive.
While you're alive,
I'd almost pay good money to see Nomi try to punch a ghost in the face.
Ghosts are real though. What were you gonna say, Tom?
Nothing. I'm glad I did not know where that was going. I'm just like, while you're alive, I don't
I know.
know.
I was like, when you're alive, that's strange. But yeah, but if
Well-
you are alive, just be sure to have your hands put in special places where it's sensitive.
Wait,
Yeah, because
that Nomi, you may want to think that like around again and say it in a different way.
no, I said what I meant. I meant what I said.
Eyes, throat, balls.
Okay.
Yes.
Just approach Nomi from the front.
Wow.
I don't know if that's safe either.
It seems to me that's what she was saying. Like, don't approach me from behind. I don't know what I said wrong.
You didn't say anything wrong, man. This is when something strikes Nomi as funny, she'll just continue laughing until she's done.
Approach me from the front.
Like, you should have seen how she lost her shit when she found out there's a bit in Jaws where the shark roars.
Wait a minute, the shark roars?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things about the movie that's actually kind of dumb.
Well,
When's
yeah,
the
'cause
shark roar?
I
They
didn't
don't-
believe Samuel at first. I was like, there's no way a shark roars when it's coming out of water, when it's breaching out of water. And Samuel shows me the clip, and sure enough, the shark is roaring, breaching out of water. And that's when I lost my my ability to be not laughing.
It was pretty funny.
Dun. Hey Tom, doesn't Disney does ghost tours, don't they? Because I know I don't know about Disney World, but I know Disneyland is reportedly haunted.
There are two well, okay. There was one cast member that did pass away in Carousel of Progress in Disney World. It happened in 79, I think. They were doing Carousel of Progress. If you don't know what Carousel of Progress is, it's a rotating 4-section stage.
Would have
You
been
go
cool if
through-
it was 10 years earlier.
If I would have 10 years
Sorry.
earlier, it would have been before the park opens.
Oh,
But
true.
I get what you're saying. So the stage rotates, and it's a big, huge theater that rotates around. There's a central stage, and the lady was sliding where the thing was rotating along the wall and died. It wasn't fun, according to the story. As well as I think there was one cast member who did
Well, I would sure
stealthily-
hope so. Dying's not fun.
No, I'm just saying, for like, you heard a lot of, according to the first-hand reports, you heard a lot of bone crackling and crunching and
Oh.
screaming.
Oh.
If you know the ride, you know the attraction, you understand there's a big, huge, like 4 big, huge walls that have these flat panels that kind of push to keep the sound out. And
Uh-huh.
she was stuck at the door part, and then just kind of kept going with it.
Which
But
ride?
not
was
all of,
this?
but not all of her.
Which ride was that, Tom?
Carousel of Progress, the oldest attraction at Magic Kingdom. It's the only version of Carousel of Progress left. It's still the original animatronics from Walt. It moved from Disneyland over to Disney World when Disney World opened up.
So instead of decommissioning it, they just moved it across the country and say, "Hey, everybody."
Well,
go ahead."
it was one of the first things Walt built for the World's Fair in '64, and they did not want it to go away. I think it would be an attraction that most Disney fans, if it ever anything happened to it, they would be very vocal about. But yeah, there's been more weird things at Disney than people want to say, because for about 30 years they were able to get away with not saying anything happened on their property, because they would just take a person and put them in an ambulance and drive them right off Disney property and just let them go. Like that was the modus operandi. They got them off of Disney property so they could say that they didn't die at Disney. Like, it's sad.
That is true, because
That is what they did.
Yes, because that is one of me, a former cast member as well. There's always happy days at Disney World, Disneyland. No one's ever died on property. That is a lie that we have to tell to people.
No one ever frowns. No one ever cries.
Yep.
Oh, there's frowning and crying. It's just that the death thing.
Yeah, I mean, people die in rides. That's a fact. It's not. They do their best to mitigate that, but it happens. You know, like you ever been at one of those like little pop up carnies that show up in like tiny little Midwest towns throughout the summer? They do a tour. They show up for 3 or 4 days, and then they pack up everything and they leave. People die at those things all the time. It's one of the reasons they're always on the move.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, of course, their rides are rickety as shit too. So, you know.
There is a ghost that does haunt the dead employee that haunts Pirates of the Caribbean, though. His name's George. I was told this story when I worked there as a cast member. I've known other people that have been cast members that have been told the story, and I have actually seen George. I didn't know he was George at the time, but I was there as a kid, and there was something that wasn't never been there before. And I told I remember telling my dad, my brother, my mom, like there was someone walking there, and I actually went up to security. I went up to cast member. I was 7. I'm like, there's someone in the water, and they stopped the ride. They went across, and they couldn't find the person. Apparently, that was George. I didn't know that at the time. I was told that 20-something years when I was working there. But yeah, George. Naomi, did you know about George?
It sounds familiar, but I can't remember anything of that.
He was crushed by a falling beam during the construction of the ride.
That's right. Yes, I remember that.
And so basically, there are actually accounts for 18 years of cast members talking about George. Like there have been years of this, and it's not. And the most recent accounting was actually in 2020. A woman posted on Reddit about it, where she's like, there was this dude like in the water walking.
Ooh, that's creepy.
So yeah, there are ghost stories in Disney, and they're generational ones.
Oh, I believe it. Like, because my shift was always from 4 p.m. till 5 a.m. I've seen some stuff. I've seen some crazy shit working those long nights at the parks.
Well, let's hear some of it, Naomi.
No, hold on a second. Didn't just 10 minutes ago, didn't you just say that ghosts aren't real?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I said I do believe in ghosts. Ghosts are real.
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen a ghost.
I misheard you then.
I've seen it, Samuel.
Yes,
Yeah,
as have I.
Sam. She seen it.
That's I misheard it.
But go ahead, Tom.
I'll let you go. I know about 4 other ones from when I was because I was a tour guide, so I actually knew some of these stories to tell people, like as tidbits. But I'll let Naomi see if she has any other ones that she knows first.
Well, I remember one time we were closing, and my friend, she was I can't remember what they're called, but she would gather the carts from families who would rent out the carts to push their kids around.
The strollers.
Yeah, the strollers. There we go. And the park was already closing, and I could have sworn, like, I went walking over there, but like, I don't think that was like a person. I saw a shadow figure walking from one end of the main street to another side, and it was like a pretty tall, dark figure. It looked like a basketball player, and I kind of went walking over there to see like where he was going, and it disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've seen that, Tom, or heard about that, but there's a tall figure that I saw or walks around.
That was not one of the ones I've been told. Maybe because it didn't have to do with a specific cast member, but there are 3 that I know of that are based around. One, the cast member was actually not too different distance from when I was working there. One of the bellhops actually had a heart attack on Tower of Terror. So I've still don't do this, and most cast members that worked at the same time as me, we never take platform D. We never go on that elevator. That's where he had the heart attack right before the ride started, and they did test rides afterwards, and some of the restraints weren't working, and the control mechanism didn't fire correctly. That's why D, which is the 4th elevator, which was closed for a long time, they were only running 3 towers. Only recently they started running the 4th. So, but like I still don't go on to it. It's like I don't touch that one. And I tell people like, and cast, like if you say like I don't want D, cast members look at you like, oh okay, we get it. Like they immediately like okay, you know.
Yeah.
So just a little hint. Like I would not. I would just if you're any bit superstitious, I would not go on platform D at Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios. The other one is the 4-year-old boy that died on Mission Space.
Yes, I heard of that one.
That was in 2005. I do know that was before I worked as a cast member there. But I have felt the cold spots they talk about, and there are misfires on the ride vehicle that he did pass away on. The kid should not have been on that ride.
Mm-hmm.
It is way too intense for smaller kids. And the only other one I know of is in Space Mountain. There was a cast member that was too tall in the 70s, and he was test riding the ride, and he lost his head. If you're above like 6'5", I think you shouldn't ride that ride. The height limitations are very low.
I think that's a general thing. Yeah, if you exceed the ride, like you have to be this tall to ride the ride thing. Yeah, chances are you're going to get your head cut off.
There are height limitations. They don't put the height limitations on a lot of rides, but I would say I think Space Mountain's around 6'4", 6'5". Anything above that, I would not go on that comfortably. There's a lot of rides like that where they don't list how high you should be or you can be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, those are the 3 stories I know of that I was told to say. Like I told about, like if you're doing a tour guide on Halloween, blah blah blah, here's something you can do to tell people it's interesting facts. I'm like, you want me to tell people someone died on the ride like 3 years ago? Like I don't know if that's a good story. It's like, oh god. I mean, luckily they haven't.
Happy place.
They haven't made any ghost stories about the kid that got eaten by the gator.
I was just to bring that up because that kid who was tragically eaten by a gator a few years ago. If there's any stories about that.
To my knowledge, no. They put up a little blue lighthouse. Really? I still think that story's weird when I heard it the first time, but that's like, so both parents weren't paying attention to their toddler at the same time. But
I mean, when I worked there, I that was just my concern. Is like, I don't know, guys. This is a pretty big park and pretty big property. Yeah, I understand this is Florida. But a lot of families come here. I don't think it's a good idea to have gators here.
Well, they do relocate. I mean, theoretically, even before then, for about 10 years, they had the signs up, don't go in the water because of the amoebas in Florida water that can kill you.
Yeah.
So they like put signs up. Now they didn't put up the rope work or anything like that, but it was a good, like, I would say 10 to 12 years before that happened where you were told not to go in the water for like most of my, or at least 50% of my Disney existence. There was like, you don't go in there. Don't go in the water. There were like shirts, I think. But I feel bad for the family, obviously. It was just like, I have not heard any like hauntings of like the 4-year-old boy haunting the beach because he got eaten by a gator.
Yep, and he's now on that property forever, and he's only stuck to that beach the rest of his ghostly life.
At least it's a deluxe resort.
That is true. That is true.
Or until somebody calls the new Ghostbusters.
Universal owns that. Sony owns them. Never mind.
Yeah, Sony owns that, but they're not gonna like take out a little 4-year-old kid who was super innocent, got accidentally eaten.
That thing might possess you.
I'll call it Ichigo. We'll get Bleach in here.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, at least think about it this way. Ichigo is at least like put the little stamp seal on it, and he floats up to the spirit realm. Ghostbusters, man, they're trapping those ghosts and throwing it into the containment field. Like, what is that? The Phantom Zone? Like, we got Superman's Phantom Zone in the thing. Like, how is that helping the ghost? How is that helping the spirit?
I don't think it's about helping them so much as it is about getting them, out of the way.
Well, how bad were the Scolari brothers? All they did was. How bad were the Scolari brothers? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Pretty damn bad. That judge was worse. I gave him the chair.
Honestly, the Scolari brothers scene is one of my favorite scenes in any of the Ghostbuster films. I don't know why. I just think it's one of the better effects they've done. Hi, Shadu. He's muted.
Tom, how you doing?
What's up, Shadoobie?
This is less
tired and I'm lonely. So I'm here.
Tired and you're lonely. Jesus Christ.
Well, we're talking about spooky, scary things, so gather around. We're gonna pass around the flashlight with the light flashing on our faces, and we're gonna tell scary stories. So I think
nothing like scary stories before Christmas. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's like Dickens.
Yeah, we just talked about like Tom's Disney experience. My first, well, I wouldn't call it a first. My first ghost experience.
Wait.
I think I've shared this story before, but when I was in Boston, I've definitely seen ghost figures in red coats, like hanging around at the corner of my eye. And when I look, they disappear. So I know ghosts are real. So that's why I believe they are among us.
I have a question. Can A Christmas Carol be watched on Halloween because it's a ghost story?
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
So I'm just like sorry, I've never thought of it that way before until now, but like it is a ghost story, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what?
You can show that movie any time of the year to showcase why being a greedy bastard's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Only wait. But only at the end of your life you figure that out. Like if you figured that early, he would never have had enough wealth to support the rest of the people.
Not necessarily.
True. Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is his altruism doesn't pay.
Yeah, it does.
You notice most people that are philanthropists end up having money to be philanthropists. You need to get the money to give the money.
Hey, Mira.
That's a good point there, Tom.
What it do, homies? What it do? I'm in my gangster mood right now.
Man, we got Tom who's drunk. We got Amir who's a gangster. This is a fun panel.
We got Shadoobie Doobie.
What is a Shadoobie?
That would be Shadow.
I don't think even Shadu has ever seen a doobie.
Don't even know what that is.
Oh, I was actually speaking of doobies, I was gifted one earlier today.
Did you smoke it?
No.
Did you pass it to the left-hand side?
No, I didn't. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know.
I know what we're talking about.
Weed. I mean, we're talking about weed.
Oh.
So
I just suddenly felt like 25 years older, like in 2 seconds. Like it just like hit. Like my knees felt pain, my back kind of creaked a little bit.
Oh, join the club, Tom.
Why did you feel older?
I'm guessing because of Shadu and you. Like you didn't know what a doobie was. I just felt like old. I guess that's what my parents would call it too.
Well, the thing is, I smoke crack, so there's a little bit of a difference between the slang that we use.
It's from freaking California, so I'm not even surprised.
Is that a dead chihuahua on your shoulder?
No, it's Dort.
Why are you guys laughing so hard? Relax.
It's not a dead chihuahua. Who calls
for some context, Tom Amira doesn't watch Star Wars. So
Zort is
neither
the
does
ghost
half
of a
the people at a Disney park. I actually got the thing from Labyrinth, the worm, Dobby.
Tell me it doesn't
some-
look like a chihuahua. Am I not right?
I'm just a
Doesn't. It
word.
looks like a monkey.
It's not a monkey.
It looks nothing like a
well,
monkey.
technically a monkey lizard, but
It looks like a monkey with a bird face.
Stop, Clifton. It's not that
You're
funny.
welcome, Clifton. I just realized Clifton's probably got some great ghost stories.
Does he have the?
I don't
does he
think
have
we
the
want to
link?
hear. I don't think we want to hear German ghost stories.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like Europe, you know, because they've
Actually,
got a
I
lot
kinda
more just
do.
like.
Clifton, get up here.
Yeah,
No,
German,
like, I mean, the Germans,
German
they
ghost
got, like-
stories like they have a much richer history than just the last century.
I'm just.
So
I know. I'm just saying. Like,
you got to take into account there's going to be a ton of German barbarians who were put in the ground by the Romans too.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like that part of the world has had like more wars numerically, more violence numerically than we've had days as a country. So there's probably some like every single square inch of that damn country probably has its own restless dead.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Bless you.
Can you imagine if they rose up and decided that we were in their way? It would be like Return of the King when when the dead soldiers showed up and just destroyed everybody.
Not it'd be worse because these ones would be speaking German.
Oh,
That
I'm
language
trying to
is
figure out if you can
horrifying. I've
figure
heard
out
someone
how
try to
many.
order like I've heard like I've seen a video of someone ordering at McDonald's. It sounds like some kind of orcish war chant type thing. No offense, Clifton, but your language is scary.
See,
So-
because they speak like this a lot. Not maybe not, but like they say words like "This is
No.
what Tyson."
Is that?
Wait, what's this German? I thought he was black.
No, he's
He's ginger.
You know they have black people in Germany, right, Larry?
I get Larry.
Yes, I know.
I guess
What?
I think he meant ethnically, right? Or
Yeah, I thought he just
Yeah,
was a
they
black
have-
dude
they
that
have
used
both
skin
light
lightener.
and dark sour bratwurst there. It's fine.
Wait,
I
so
thought he
Larry,
just
you're
used
saying
some
you're
skin
dyslexic?
lightener or something on his face.
Larry, you saw ginger and you're dyslexic. Okay. No, not funny.
That's. I mean, I'm laughing, kid. I am, but YouTube's not.
Clifton, I don't know. I don't want to know if you're one of us from the waist down. I
Uh,
don't want to know the answer to that.
That's yeah.
wait.
Um,
Oh,
They
okay.
left Ryan stream for less weirdness.
well, it gets weird over here. It's just different weird. Mostly, sometimes, on occasion, every once in a while. Larry,
Yeah.
where are we at in the program?
Hey, we're doing well. In fact, actually, I'm glad that Tom is on here because he can explain. He could give us a prediction as to whether or not Madam Web is going to join the undead of movies.
Well, Madam Web's from Sony. It is a Sony production, which goes along with Morbius and Craven, which I don't know what happened to Craven. Wasn't that coming out? Like,
Yeah,
It was
Ain't gonna
supposed to
push
be.
back.
so
quiet.
Madam Web has at least one thing for it. They had cast attractive women. So far, that's all I see going for it. I mean, Sweeney, that person is in a new rom-com coming out with the guy from
Yeah,
Maverick.
Clifton Powell.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul.
So at least she's coming out in some type of rom-com where she looks like she's naked in part of it. So maybe that'll up her stock. I think she shouldn't have been playing Silk. I think that's who they cast her as in the movie. I think it's the wrong casting there. To me, she should have been Spider-Gwen. Like her comic timing, and it seems like she would have been better off being a Spider-Gwen. But I guess they can't introduce that yet because that might be in Spider-Man 4. So I do know Ant-Man's rumored, or they're trying to get Paul Rudd into Spider-Man 4.
I
don't know why.
I need to unnerd this conversation just a little bit. Just
it's just a nerd panel.
I can't. I'm only here for a little bit, so please let me get a little bit of less nerdiness for a second. I wanted to ask Larry if he spoke about the ghost tour that he did, and did I miss the story?
No, you haven't. I haven't gotten to it.
Wonderful. Okay, that's all I was. Okay, you guys can nerd away again.
I'm
Tom,
sorry, Amira. I didn't mean to upset you.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
It's easy to do. It's easy
Don't
to do.
take it seriously. Don't take it seriously, Tom. No, she knows that.
This is why I don't like Gen Z.
she's Gen X. She's
She-
chilling pissed her off.
Did you? Oh, so first you apologize for pissing me off, and then you pissed me off. Do I sound like I'm a entitled brat? Do I sound like Shadow? I don't sound like.
But you look young enough.
I'm a zillennial. What's it called? Zillennial.
Well, Shadow does. He does want that gold-plated toilet paper. So
I'm a zillennial. Okay, I'm not a full Gen Z. Okay, so please do not. And I don't identify with them. I identify as Gen X, by the way. I identify as Gen X.
Whoa. Self-identifying is definitely a marker of a Gen Z.
Who are you talking? Okay, somebody put him in a naughty corner.
He's not wrong.
there's no naughty corner over here.
I am not. Listen, I just met you tonight, and we've already started off on a bad start. Let me tell you that. Okay?
That's not true.
No, Amira, it's not true.
No, I identify as
Tom
Gen
is a
X.
plethora of information. There is
I
a reason why.
No. But can I identify as Gen X? Can I do that?
Anyone who self-identifies is going along an idea of creating their own reality. And creating your own reality is something that we can't do.
And that's a Gen Zer thing. We don't do that. As
Mira, if you were born before, I believe 1997, then you're an Xer. If you were born before
Incorrect.
2000s, then it's
Incorrect.
You're
Incorrect.
timing's off.
If you were born before 1981, you're a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
You're a millennial between. Yeah, it's totally different generations, buddy. I'm Gen X.
Gen X is
I forget about Gen X. My
Gen X are like 40 to 50-ish right now if you're Gen X in your age.
I want to be Gen X though. That's what I want to be. I want to be one of them. I don't want to
be spiritual Gen X.
Hey, there we go.
How about that?
All right.
But then you have to appreciate Tom's knowledge of the arts.
Okay, let's get Larry up out of here. What? Oh, that's right. I have no control.
Anyway, if Amira is spiritually a Gen X, let's talk about the weather.
Wait a minute. You're spiritually you're boomer then, man. Like, you're spiritually a boomer. Should do.
I don't want to be
about counterintelligence yet. I don't know what you're talking about.
If Shadow if he's spiritually a boomer, he's got like 10 kids that he's not paying for.
No. My parents paid for. No.
What?
What nationality are you thinking about for 10 kids with it paying for? I don't think there were that many boomers that I knew that had 10 kids. That was the generation before. My parents were boomers. Before that, you mean the silent generation?
Clifton's generation.
Oh, Clifton's generation? Okay.
Super Seeker says Gen X is old. That's not true. They're not like old.
They're 40s to 50.
Some of them are old. Yeah, some of them are past half a century of age, and some of us aren't.
Yeah, each generation is about 15 years.
But we're all close to that. Yeah.
By the way, Suka,
you're old when you're retirement age. When you're 65 plus, that's when you're old. And I think that Gen X has not reached that yet.
Well, retirement age used to be 55.
Yep, it used to be 55.
Yeah, but it's different because we live longer now. So
it's different because of Joe Biden.
No, that's because they want us not to live longer now.
Listen to Rogue.
I listen to no one, Shadow. Who are you, Shadow? You know our agreement. You can't tell me what to do. You know.
Yeah,
I don't find anything.
This is weird.
It's only weird if you make it weird.
Anything, right? You're my
Nomi? Nomi is like, Nomi, you're right. It's like, don't think about it. It won't be weird.
Shadow, you're going to end up like Joffrey, dude.
Trying to Game of Thrones Joffrey, right?
Yeah, but you're going to
end up being the coffee shop.
I'm just double checking to make sure that. Anyway, that's not the worst way I could go. I've been threatened with worse.
Drinking a poison that strangles you to death and literally turns you purple?
Yeah, that'd be top 20 ways I've been recommended I should die.
Why not have Sam strangle you with his tentacle?
That's about top 10.
For the record, that wasn't me.
Who
suggested that?
We are not in court. Oh my gosh. As soon as I hear that sound, for the record, I'm like,
hey, Hey, Shadow, Tom can have Zort stab you while you're sleeping.
I
I
mean,
At
mean,
know
least you're
right there.
sleeping. At least you're sleeping, though.
yeah, and you wouldn't know because you already have your eyes closed. So
Yeah, Zort will cut a
Exactly.
smile into your neck.
I don't
Do
I
you
don't
want
know
back
if
to
I
Madam
want to
Web?
go like wouldn't you want to know how you went out? Like I don't know if I want to go in my sleep. It's like
What's the
in a
point of
fight.
knowing?
You want to know the last punch that got you. I don't know.
No.
no, I'm okay with like not knowing how I got out.
Just
Yeah,
wake
my-
up looking at God. Like, how did I get here?
Yeah, like the next thing is like shiny pearly gates and like I'm in clouds. Like, oh, okay, all
Well,
right.
unless you're
I'm
in a
not that
nautilus.
I'm not that optimistic.
I'm with Tom on this though. I'd rather see death coming on my feet with my eyes open.
Why? So you can like do a fighting stance before you get taken out.
He wants to
No.
flick it off. He wants to give it the finger before it takes him.
Absolutely. And I will
Wow.
continue to maintain that finger into the next life.
Hey Sam, if you want to see death come in, I tell you, here's what you do: get a career, make a whole lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. Then get married, wait a year, and then file for divorce. It'll be slow and painful.
You're gonna
Yeah.
say call your wife a Slytherin.
I was gonna say my first divorce was plenty painful enough, and it didn't kill me. I don't want to do it again.
Well, you said you wanted to see your death coming.
Yeah, that's
No,
not
no,
death. That's just long
no.
suffering.
That's where you're wrong. You get to your 85, you get diagnosed with whatever you're diagnosed with. You go to Nevada or somewhere that prostitution's legal. You get as many fit young 20-year-olds as possible that will come and willing to do stuff with you for whatever money you have left, and then you get to see death while coming. I mean, coming.
Oh my god.
Are you going to die in the middle of your orgasm?
It's you know what? You die
Better
happy,
to
right?
die on your back, right, Tom?
35 or
That's
40
one time
somewhere in the middle.
I don't
want
wanna
to
die- I'd rather die happy.
So what you just explained to us sounds like that's how you want to die happy.
Happiness is a state of mind.
It's in my will.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
I
my
want
God.
to go that way.
You gotta play the song by The Weeknd. I hear it coming. I hear it coming.
Amira seems done with this conversation.
I didn't bring us here.
My eye is twitching.
Larry, tell us about your ghost stories.
Right.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
No, Larry.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me.
Oh my
go
God.
ahead
Are you
and-
gonna, Larry, please don't do your typical storytelling.
Well,
Rogue,
he's got a PowerPoint.
oh, thank God. Rogue, if you don't know, Larry is awful at telling stories. I mean, well,
You know
Wait, she's gonna
you
fucking
know you
kill
can
us.
actually share the PowerPoint into StreamYards. You don't have to use the application.
I didn't know that.
Laugh.
You can actually
But-
upload PowerPoints into StreamYards and it'll save them.
Well, I didn't know that. That's. I should have looked into that before I did this, but since it's done. And by the way, Amira, that wasn't me that did that to you. That was Shadow. Anyway, so
What?
yeah, I drove down. I drove down to San Antonio, and I paid my $60, and I participated in the Ghost Bus tour, which was it's thrown by this company called the Sisters Grimm Ghost Tours and Oddities, and it is inside. Okay, well, first before we do that, that's the bus. That's the
Nice.
bus I was in last night.
That's really nice.
Yeah, those aren't special effects. That's actually the lights, everything. The whole setup is they got lights coming all the way through. The inside of the bus is really nice as well. So, I mean, whoever designed that thing, they did a really good job with it. Um, but yeah, it was fun. So, the tour itself started out in this hotel. This is the Minger Hotel. The Minger Hotel at this point is known to have over 35 documented ghosts. Um, a lot of them soldiers, because apparently the first wave of the Alamo went right through there. So there were a lot of deaths in that hotel. But among the ghosts, there are about three special ghosts that the that the tour guide told us about. One first of which, now this isn't her, right? But Sally White was a maid at the Minger Hotel back in the day, and the Mingers loved her. They took care of her, um, and they did their best to watch out for her because she had a common law husband who was very dangerous. He was known to be very violent, and he was always threatening to kill her, always threatening to do some kind of harm to her. Well, one day he decided to follow through on his threats. So she comes home, he gets upset, and he goes for his gun. She's like, "Oh crap, it's now or never. Let me get the hell up out of here." She goes running out. He comes out, shoots her in the back, thinking that that was going to make her drop, but it didn't. She kept running. She's headed straight back to the Minger Hotel because it's the safest place that she knows. But the husband follows her and shoots her two more times. She collapses out front of the hotel. And the hotel staff, the rest of the staff, they go outside, they grab her, they bring her in, they do their best to make her feel comfortable. Now, for some reason back then, it was legal to shoot your wife without any kind of consequences as long as you didn't kill her. And the police had told the common law husband this, which was stupid because what they did was she died 2 days later. So they basically gave this man 2 days to pack his stuff and get the hell out of Dodge, which is what he did, and he never caught him. So now you fast forward, and there have been reports throughout the years of hotel guests saying that they've seen this woman, and she'll come in, she'll fold linen, and then go out into the hallway and leave. Well, some of the staff told us that they had a guest, the lady came running down the stairs in nothing but a towel. And it wasn't like a long towel, it was a very, very short towel. She's got nothing on but a towel. She's dripping wet, and she runs out and runs all the way into the front desk, and she's hysterical.
She pulled an Archimedes.
She hmm?
She pulled an Archimedes.
I guess. But she had a run in with Sally White. She was taking a shower. She got out of the shower, wrapped herself in her little towel, opened up the door, and looks over to the bed and sees ghost Sally White folding linen on her bed. The lady screams. Sally doesn't say anything. Sally turns around, walks right past her out into the hallway. The lady takes off running. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I guess that's one story. So the tour guide tells us that, and his name is Lee. So Lee goes, yeah, that's the first story. The second one is this man, a Confederate captain, so F him. But Richard King, he owned a ranch, and he owned 1,000,000 acres, 1,000,000 acres, which is now it's down to a little over 800,000. But he used to stay at the Minger Hotel a lot, and he stayed there so much that he actually bought a portion of the hotel and built his own suite. And he got diagnosed with stomach cancer and was being told that he was dying. And so instead of him going back to his ranch and spending his last remaining days in the ranch, he decided to go to the Minger Hotel and stay in his hotel room in his suite and die in there. So, which he eventually did. If you want to rent this room, it will cost you almost $400 a night, and that's on a regular night. If there's a special event going on in the city, that price doubles or triples. A lady came flying out of the room one night during the day, said that she woke up in the middle of the night and found Richard King standing over her bed, staring at her, like he was wondering what the hell she was doing in his bed.
She just porridge too.
She probably did. Shoot, I'd have been at his ranch. You would think go back to your ranch, but apparently he liked being there. The third
Not
and
that
most
damn
famous
room.
ghost. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say he bought that damn room, and she didn't have the respect to like not eat his food and sleep in his bed.
You would think so, right? The
I, I
most famous
just
ghost.
I just think it's hilarious. There was a point in time that you couldn't get in trouble for shooting your wife. Like,
That
I
would be
mean,
crazy thing.
those were the days.
Honestly,
I'm joking.
in Wyoming currently, it's if you catch your spouse cheating on you, you are within your legal rights to shoot both her and the person she's cheating on you with.
Based.
Yeah.
Just make sure you
Based.
remember that, Sam.
I don't mess around with married women, dude. Stop telling people that.
I'm not. I didn't say that you intentionally do, Mr. Tentacle. I'm saying they may have messed with you, and you may not have known about it. You may not have known that they were married.
Rattlesnakes.
So.
Shut up, kid.
The most
Sorry,
famous
Mom.
ghost, the most famous ghost to this day hangs out in the bar, right? Which was a distillery originally, but it is a bar within the Minger Hotel, and that is Teddy Roosevelt, the president himself. So the president, President Roosevelt, used to go there a lot, and he would go there to recruit people for his Rough Riders, for his first volunteers cavalry, which he called Rough Riders. And so what he would do is he reportedly he would allegedly Shanghai people. So he'd go there, he'd sit at the end of the bar, somebody come in, and if they sat next to him, he would buy them a giant pint of beer, and that beer was reportedly high octane, so it would get you nailed really quick. And he would buy you a big pint of that beer, and you got all the free refills. And so a lot of men sat next to the president, got the beer, got drunk and everything. And next thing you knew, when they sobered up, they found out they were in the damn army. Because after Teddy got him drunk, he had them sign on the dotted line. Hey, why don't you come and join the Rough Riders and go over to Cuba and get shot at for this war? And a lot of these guys, like I said, they sobered up and realized, oh crap, how did I end up here? So after Roosevelt's death, the staff members started reporting doors closing, the tables rattling, chairs rattling, and some of the staff and some guests have seen what they believe is Teddy Roosevelt repeating that same pattern. He'll come in just before they're closing, he'll sit down, he'll start drinking beer, and he'll look at whoever's there and he will signal for them to come and sit next to him because he's trying to recruit them. So, from what the tour guide Lee told us was, if we run into the ghost, take the beer, don't sign anything.
Yeah. He'll draft you into hell.
Die for Zog.
Sounds like a fun commission.
So, next thing. This Holiday Inn Express, right? So, this Holiday Inn Express, and this isn't the same one. This is just a photo of a Holiday Inn Express. This Holiday Inn Express is famously haunted in the city also. The reason why it is famous for being haunted is because it is originally the old Bexar County Jail. This jail was famous for hanging people. So they were hung from the gallows. Right over here, this window right here, the second floor right here, this was the gallows. This was where you sat. They put you down. They put you in a chair, put a bag over your head or a sheet over your head, put a noose, pull a lever, and you drop down here. Hopefully, your neck would snap because of your weight, and it would be a quick death. Otherwise, if you were still living, they'd let you hang there for 10, 15 minutes to make sure that you were dead.
Mm.
They stopped doing the hanging, not because they got tired of doing it, but because of this man. Now, this is where I've got to use some viewer discretion, and I will kind of do selective words. So this man, Clemente Apolinar, so he's mentally disabled, and back then, mental disability wasn't really, they didn't know much about it. It wasn't really treated. nowhere near as well as it is today. So for the most part, Clemente was left alone. Clemente he had a habit of going down, coming into the city to see a family, and there was a stream that he would always stop by to gather water. Well, one day the water's all dirty and it's murky. He, of course, is upset, so he goes upstream and finds a 13 and a 14-year-old, two brothers playing in the water, dirtying the water up. He starts screaming at them, tells them to stop. They look at Clemente, pick up rocks, and start throwing them at him. To cut out a lot of what happened, Clemente reached the city covered in blood and other matter, with one of the boys managing to get to the police and pointing at him and saying, "Hey, he just killed my brother." Right? So he was arrested and he was sentenced to death. The reason why San Antonio stopped hanging people is because of Clemente. Because when they sent him to the gallows, when it was his time to die, because he was in death row for like 2 years, they sat him in a chair, they were going to put the sheet on his head. Well, he didn't want the sheet on his head, and they said, "Okay, well, F it, that's on you." Put the noose around his neck, hit the lever. Clemente falls. The problem is that he had more than enough weight than they hoped to snap his neck. He had so much weight that the rope actually cut an artery in his neck, and he sprayed all of the VIP guests that were there to view his death. So they decided right then and there, after they got sprayed, that hanging people from the gallows was inhumane, and they felt that frying them to
the
death with an
viewers?
electric chair was better. So they switched to that.
Yeah, that's I mean, I imagine that's happened probably more than once throughout history, but it's I mean,
Like
at
going
least
to see Shamu.
yeah, at least he died on the first drop.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't.
Weird flex, but at least he's dead.
You know? Well, it's
Yeah,
not the kind of thing you
and-
want to put somebody through more than once.
Well, and also too, I blame the VIP guests for what happened to, because they were standing right underneath him. Why would you do that?
I agree with D-Day. It's incredibly inhumane for those poor, innocent rich people who are just there to watch a man die.
Yeah.
They probably had their kids with them. There was ice cream, people selling hats and T-shirts, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And
maybe
their
they
day
made
was
wagers.
ruined.
How
Like
long
on the
would it take?
Corsican Brothers, where they was execution
Well,
5,000.
Public executions used to be a thing, not just because they were considered and were, in fact, a very successful deterrent in a lot of cases. But there, especially if you go back to the Middle Ages, there really wasn't a lot of stuff going on to watch. So it was also considered a form of public entertainment.
Well, they didn't have YouTube back then. They didn't have. What else were they going to do? All you could do is either have sex or watch people get killed in the most brutal ways.
Yeah, that's
There's also
true.
bullying the town fool.
Or was it public embarrassment? Where they put your hand in your neck in that device, and people
the
throw
stockade.
pies and
Yeah.
Was it?
Bullying the town fool.
Yeah.
Hey man, I would not want to be in a stockade, man. You're left exposed.
Yeah.
You don't know who
Yep.
might come behind you.
And it gets worse, because like you see cartoons of people in stockades, and the crowd's always got rotten fucking tomatoes with them. Always, there's always somebody carrying rotten tomatoes around for some reason, and they pelt this dude in the face. And aside from the fact that they're rotten, I mean, that'd probably lessen the impact a little bit. But all that fruit just hangs out on them all day, and depending on how long their sentence is. I mean, that attracts insects, which could attract all kinds of other problems.
I think
and
Logan's saying that he has to go.
oh,
Bye.
see you later,
sorry,
Tom. Thanks
Rob.
for coming.
Yeah, thanks
No
for coming,
problem.
Tom.
I only plan to stop by for a little bit. I gotta head to a theme park tomorrow early.
Hey, well,
so-
we appreciate the contribution, man.
fun.
I'll be watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, later, man. Good night.
Bye, Tom.
Good night.
See you, Tom.
Bye, Thomas. Okay.
Bye. And
I
don't
will
come
be.
back again because we already started off on a bad foot. I hope you can still hear me.
Oh, Jesus, Amira.
I'm sure he did.
I will be putting his link in the description below.
I don't know why.
So that if anybody wants to go follow him, he does a lot of stuff with Parks Hopping over
He
on
does.
Geeks and Gamers.
You guys saw what he did to me. Where's your loyalty to me? You guys better not go to him.
Protected his pet.
Tom is actually the reason why I'm on the YouTube sphere because he helped me out. He helped me get here.
Moving along.
Let's move along before we start a war.
The Sheridan Gunter Hotel. So this hotel has some serious history to it. Torture is interesting. Yeah, Clifton. Must be
Well, it is.
determined.
I did my 9th grade thesis on corporal punishment.
Really? Do you still have that?
That's somewhere.
Oh, if you
Man,
have a digital copy, I just have to
ninth
read it.
grade was like 25 years, like almost 30 years ago, man. I've got it
You
somewhere.
probably have it in storage.
Thank you,
Didn't
I
you
have
have
it in
like,
storage.
didn't you have like
At
work?
least somebody
Can't you
has
just-
loyalty.
But yeah, moving along. So
Wait! Before you move on, but Samuel was. I'm sorry, but you guys said that Samuel was talking about being in the 9th grade and how it's 30 years ago. That's not true, is it? Like, Samuel?
It's pretty close. Let's see. 9th grade, I was 14. I am 43 now. So yeah, it's like 29 years ago. It'll be 30 years ago next year.
Wow.
Later this year, or like in the spring, it'll be 30 years ago. Yeah.
Amira, why are you surprised?
I mean, I don't know. It's just that I don't see Samael as that big age. I see him as, I don't know.
It's because I'm super mature.
Okay.
There are times when I forget that Samael's only like my dad's age, and I'll think he's older just because he's a lot more like erudite and mature. Yeah.
Well,
okay,
thank you.
moving along.
Sorry, Larry. I'll shut
No,
up.
no, you're fine. So the Ghost of Gunter. This lady. This is not the lady. I just grabbed a blonde off the internet. Oh, okay, that didn't come out right. I grabbed a photo of this lady off the
From where?
internet.
Russia?
Let me
Larry's wife
let me
walks
stress
in
let me
as he
let
says
me
that.
stress that I didn't grab some lady off the internet. Anyway, so the blonde lady, the blonde woman of room 636. So they don't know what her name is, right? What they do know is that she was murdered by Albert Knox. And so Albert Knox was a man, he was rolling around the city and he was writing hot checks around the city. And so of course, and this is decades ago. So it takes a while before anybody realizes that they've been tricked by this guy. So he writes a hot check for the hotel room he's staying in. He brings this lady in, and after a few days, I believe someone from the cleaning crew comes over, opens the door, and sees him holding a head and a torso of the woman covered in blood, and then puts his finger over her mouth and makes the the shushing noise for her to be quiet. She flips out, runs downstairs, and tells her boss what happens. They call the police. Albert jumps out of the stairwell and takes off before the police gets there. Among during their investigation, the police comes in and they're seeing they're seeing the head and the torso, and they're wondering where is the rest of her. Albert had went and bought a meat grinder down the street from the hotel with a hot check. He cut her limbs off and shoved everything he could into that meat grinder and ground her up like ground beef and flushed whatever he ground out down the toilet.
That's a waste of
And
meat.
surprisingly, the toilet did not clog up.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking for a second when you showed that picture, Larry, I was like, man, this woman looks a little young to be a ghost.
Well, she was young when he killed her.
No, when I say young, I mean that she's too recent to actually be a ghost. Because when you think about ghosts, usually they're from hundreds of years ago, people who died 100 years ago or 50 years ago. She looks like she's modern. She's like a modern human.
Oh
So,
no! Like I said, this is a random. This isn't the lady because they don't have a photo of her. Because I think this happened in the 60s. The
oh,
murder
this is
happened in the
Miller
60s.
Bride.
If I'm not, I just put it there just for show. But that's not her,
okay,
right? 'Cause
okay.
they don't even know what the lady's name is. But Knox got away. However, they found him in another hotel down the street. He, for some reason, was fixated on the room number 636, and the other hotel it was taken, so he picked 536. When the police closed in on him and he heard them banging on the door, he shot himself. They were never able to find out why this man did what he did. And ghosts, not long after that, some strange happenings were occurring. People were hearing screams and cries, and one lady woke up in the middle of the night in room 636, which was renamed because the room was moved down the hall, and so that room was split into two different rooms. So I believe it was turned into 620, and a lady woke up in the middle of the night to find the ghost of that young blonde covered in blood, standing at her at the foot of her bed, reaching out to her, begging for help. The other ghosts of that hotel, Samuel's favorite,
Holy shit,
Robert
Robert
Johnson.
Johnson, really?
Robert Johnson, room 414.
Oh man, the legends about that guy.
The legends about him. So, Shadow, what do you know about Robert Johnson?
I'm assuming he's a musician based off that picture. That is literally it.
He's a legendary musician.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and tell him who he is, Sam.
Googling
All right,
who he is.
so Robert Johnson was a young man who wanted to be a great blues guitarist, and by all accounts, he was adequate. But there was no soul, there was no artistry to his plucking. Like he could do it technically, but it wasn't, it didn't draw people in, and he wasn't as good as a lot of the other blues guitarists of his day. So he disappears like off the face of the earth for a good month or two, right?
Mhm.
And then one day he shows back up again, in a bar in it was like Georgia, Louisiana, or some shit like that. And he starts making his guitar do things that no one else had ever heard. It was making sounds that were unreal. And guys who were present at that time had talked about this, and they were just like, we couldn't believe it, because he was just, pretty basic bitch guitar work before this. But when he came back, it was like putty in his hands. He was the greatest they'd ever heard.
Yeah. I was just about to ask what Clifton asked in the chat. Did he die 10 years after that?
No, it was a lot sooner. It was 1 year.
Supernatural lied to me.
Well, Supernatural lies about a lot of shit, dude. It's a fiction show.
Yeah, I know. But I agree with Clifton. That sounds like some devil deal shit.
That is. So here's the thing: is the rumor was, and he never confirmed this. I think that there was an old man who told a story saying that Robert told him that he did this, that he went and he made a grease and he went and buried it in the crossroads and made a deal with the devil. But that's never been confirmed. It's just one old man telling a story. And, this is like the 1920s, man. This is, people didn't keep records, public records like they do now. Nobody had like a camera phone in their pocket. So you had to take people on their word. One day he's playing in a bar and he freaks out. And he starts screaming about this big black dog, and he locks himself in the bathroom, screaming that he can hear the howling getting closer and closer, and it's coming for him. And nobody could see anything. He was just freaking out. And then they found him in there later when they broke down the door, and he had died apparently of a heart attack.
I heard this story before. I
Yeah.
didn't realize this was him. No, because I heard this story from someone. I don't remember who. And then the next day, my brother and I binged 5 or 6 episodes of Supernatural, and we came across the episode that was based on this story.
Yeah. There's also a story that he died in. There's a story that he died in Mississippi. That he was poisoned and died 3 days later in Mississippi, which sounds ridiculous.
It depends on what they poisoned him with. Because there were a bunch of witnesses to this event, and they all heard him screaming about the big black dog and the barking and the howling. But if he had been dosed with something hallucinogenic that was slow acting, that could absolutely have played a part.
Yeah.
That could have forced him to see the dog too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
so. Of course, it could also have been a hellhound sent by the devil to collect his soul and drag him back to hell.
Yeah.
Man,
Many
he
people
should.
have said that when they make deals with the devil, when it was time for the devil to collect, that they have seen dogs, or they'll see weird faces where the face is blacked out, but the rest of the entity is. I mean, they're all very common. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's fake. If so many people are saying they see the same thing,
Mhm.
I don't think it's
Make-
fake.
Like, many
What makes you-
cultures even have like the same kind of ideas. Like, I don't remember what they're called, but like, I believe Sam probably knows this better than I do. But like the Irish, the evil, the Fomorians, I think, like those are the evil giants, right?
Yeah, the Fomorians aren't really an issue, but yeah, that's from
Right, like,
Irish. That's from Gaelic legend.
Right? Didn't they have like they might not have been them, but there was like some like Irish mythology thing that had like black dogs that they would send as like fetchers
Yeah,
of
that
the
was
damned.
that was the Unseelie court.
Unseelie, yeah, them. And like the Greeks, I mean, not quite to the same extent, but that's like, if I remember right, that's where we get the myths of hellhounds from.
Mhm.
And then I believe there's something similar in Japanese and Chinese mythology. So like these stories are everywhere. Like fear of snakes is in every single religion except for Aztecs for some reason. Like there's certain things that are like just wired into our souls, into our meat and marrow, or are real, and we
well,
just
that's
explain
different.
them through mythology.
But that's different, Shadow. Like the fear of, poisonous animals is because of evolution. What we're talking about is a specific animal that comes when it's time to take your soul that people have seen, and it's not because a dog is an animal that we are scared of because it's poisonous or evolution. Dogs, to us, to humans, are not seen as evil or bad. They're seen as man's best friend. So for
Yeah,
people
no,
to
I'm
constantly
agreeing with you.
see these black dogs coming, it
Yeah.
means
Right. And when they
No,
talk about
my-
these black dogs, they don't. The descriptions of these dogs do not fit any analog of any real world breed that we know of. There's something altogether otherworldly.
They're hellhounds,
yeah,
like D-Day
or
said.
Anubis's jackals.
Yeah, that's more of a mortuary thing than it is like a come and collect souls thing. But yeah, the common misconception: Anubis is not the god of the dead; he's the god of passing over.
Yeah, Osiris is the god of the dead, correct?
He's the god of the underworld.
Who's the god of the dead?
They don't have like a specific god of the dead. Osiris rules the underworld, but he is undead.
Okay, so they delegate it to multiple different people rather than leaving it to one guy.
Essentially.
Okay.
See, Osiris can never leave the underworld because he's undead. So
well, at least they don't put it all on one guy. Like it's not his job is not that difficult, right?
right, and so Anubis is the one who guards the gateway between the worlds of the living and the dead, and he's the one who oversees passage and essentially what happens to you when you die. Him and Ammit, who is the devourer of souls. No, Ammit, Ammut.
Amaunt.
No, Ammut.
Oh, Amut. Amut.
Yeah.
No.
So this
But
is
Amut in many languages means death. Like in Arabic, Farsi, Aramaic, and I believe Hebrew as well. Mut means death, to die. Amut means I'm dying.
in ancient Egyptian, Mut or Mut was the sky goddess, but Amut was the devourer of worlds who hung around with Anubis when he would weigh your heart against a feather, and if your heart was lighter than the feather, you got to go on to a glorious afterlife. It was heavier than the feather. Amut ate the heart and your soul.
Yeah.
And you didn't get to go anywhere but this ravenous guard's bowels.
Yeah.
Which means
Sorry
everybody.
Sorry for derailing the story, Larry.
Are we done?
No. Nothing got derailed. Trust me. But I am gonna move on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no worries.
You guys remember this? Amir, you've
Uh,
seen.
I-
Okay, hold on.
I don't know what this is.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
Can you hear this?
Pee-wee's
No,
What's Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
it's a movie.
You didn't put the sound though. I don't know if you did that on purpose.
Yeah, there's no volume.
Doggone
Yeah,
it.
you gotta present, and then when you do it, you gotta select also share audio. That's a thing that I was recently told because my gaming streams, apparently every single one of them never had audio, and no one ever told me.
Well, it normally
Yeah.
does share audio. Let me hold on.
It's sometimes it's set to share audio by default. I think there's a toggle switch there now instead of just the checkbox, so that you should be able to set it there, and it should stay there.
Nomi.
Yes,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you, girl.
Yeah, same here. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I just realized what time it is. I've got work tomorrow. I've got work later today, actually,
You have
because it's
school. You need to go
no,
to
I've
sleep
got work.
tomorrow.
No, finals week. I'm done with school until like February. I've
No,
got work.
I'm saying school for a reason. It's because your age. You go to school. Go to school.
I've got work tomorrow. I've got work today. I've got to go to sleep. Anyway, thanks for letting me on. Sorry for derailing a little bit, Larry.
You didn't derail anything, man. You're good.
Yeah, no, you're good, man.
We'll talk
I
later.
disagree.
You
Bye,
guys know.
Shadow.
You guys know I have adopted Shadow as my little brother, right? Everybody knows that, right?
Yes,
I'm
we
getting
know.
flashbacks to
Yes.
different situations.
Yes. So bye, little bro.
Good night,
Bye,
kid.
Shadow.
I'll be adding his stuff to the description below as well. Go check him out. He's been doing some fantastic work lately, and he's putting out a lot more in terms of fiction. He's writing quite a bit. So
Yeah, he's in competition with me. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm gonna do it this way because I realized the way I had it, you can't put the audio on that.
I want us to have a conversation without the PowerPoint being on the screen. Can't we talk a little bit, or do we have to have the PowerPoint up for much longer?
What would you say?
I wanted us to have a conversation without the PowerPoint up eventually. Are we gonna?
Well, I've got to finish my.
Is it
I
a lot
need
longer?
PowerPoint to finish it, huh?
Is it a lot longer?
It's not too much longer. It's almost done.
Oh. Okie
Yeah,
this
dokie.
is sort of the
I'll just skip
denouement of
it.
the
I'll just skip
episode.
the intro part. I'll just skip the videos.
What was the video of? It was just a scene from the movie?
It was a lead in to something I was gonna do, but it's not important.
Okay.
Yeah, this the ghost tour is Larry's taking us through is kind of the denouement of the episode.
Yeah. So this is from Pee Wee's Big Adventure. This is basically this lady that gives him a ride. She's a ghost and he doesn't know it, right? So she goes. He says hello to her. She goes through the story of how she died, and her face morphs into a crazy looking monster before she lets him out.
Oh my God! Please
And
show it. Please show it, Larry.
you just
No, I said I was asking how long is this gonna last? How long is the
I
PowerPoint?
was gonna show all this stuff, and then you were like, "Oh, I want to see it."
I said
All
how
right.
long is it going to last? Do you understand what that means? It just means I was just wondering how long because I wanted to talk to you guys. Have
Well, we
time.
still have time. You don't have to worry about that.
Did you ever get the audio to work on the video?
That thing was on. I could only put it on Windows, so the audio doesn't work on Windows. Yeah.
Hmm.
Let me know if you guys can hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can hear it now. Paul Rubens passed away this year.
Yep, he did. Rest in peace.
Who is that?
Pee
Pee
Wee,
Wee.
there on the screen, the actor.
Mhm.
Some night, huh? On this very night, 10 years ago, along this same stretch of road, in a dense fog, just like this,
His face.
I saw the worst accident
I haven't
I
seen
ever
this since I was a kid.
There was this sound, like a garbage truck dropped off the Empire State Building. And when they finally pulled the
What's his
driver's
face?
body from the twisted, burning wreck, it looked like this. Sir, that was the worst accident I ever seen. I'd get off right up here.
If you guys haven't seen Pee-wee's Big
Have a nice
Adventure,
day.
it's
It's
Be
great.
sure and tell him Large Marge sent ya.
it's a weird movie, but it's fun.
It is hilarious. So hold
Is
on.
it like Mr.
So
Bean?
hold on, wait. So it's not over because he goes. This is when he goes in there. Because he goes in there, he goes, Large Bar sent me.
Large Marge sent me.
Did you say Large Marge?
She just dropped me off.
That's impossible. Large Marge. She's.
Was 10 years ago, on a night just like tonight.
You're so dramatic.
Well, how else would you tell a ghost story?
Tonight's the anniversary. Worst accident I ever seen.
That's the same thing she said.
Before she did the face. Let me ask you guys: is this guy kind of like Mr. Bean, but talking?
He had a children's show in the late '80s, early '90s called Pee Wee's Playhouse, and then he did which was like this. He's just this goofy little guy who he had a talking chair and a bunch of shit in his house. That
Right.
would talk.
Then he got caught jacking off in the theater and it derailed his career for a while.
That was years later after he did 2 movies for Pee Wee and all that. And
Yeah.
then
Wait, y'all, wait. How did you guys just go from he has a children's show and he's goofy and funny to but was that were you when you say he
it
got
wasn't a children's theater.
It wasn't a children's theater.
Nope.
It was an adult theater.
Yep.
He was watching porn.
He was in
Yep.
a porn theater.
so that really happened? He really did do that. That
Yeah.
was a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
because
really
he was
did that.
he was famous. The tabloids got a hold of it, made a big deal out of it, and he got blacklisted for a while.
Yeah.
Everybody else in that theater was doing the same thing he was doing.
Oh, but because he's famous.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. But wait, do you guys notice that a lot of these people who do these children's stuffs end up in these kind of weird sexual situations?
Some of them, yeah. In Pee Wee's case, like the event that he got caught for had nothing to do with kids. It just, because his career had focused, mostly on kid stuff. They made a massive deal about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but but he rose above it though. He did an award show afterwards. He come out talking about, hey, heard any good jokes lately? And he got a standing ovation too. So because everybody understood it was like, nobody was cheering on the tabloids. Everybody was pretty much like that was a crappy thing to do. But because his show was a children's show, that's what did it. And it was like Pee Wee Herman's a character. It's not who he was as a person. It was a character he was playing. But back then, the standards were stricter. If you had a show like that, you had to be above board.
You
Mhm.
can't escape. Sometimes you can't escape your character because your character is too strong. Like Harry Potter, he can't escape being Harry Potter. He just can't. Just like what's the other guy? What was the guy who was famous and Mr. Rogers? Rogers, right?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers. He couldn't escape being Mr. Rogers either. He could not. There's nothing else he could do.
I don't think he wanted to in his case. In Mr. Rogers' case, the reason that he created a show that he did for so long was because he wanted to contribute something positive to the world. He was a very deadly marksman in in World War II, and he had a lot of issues living with that.
Mm.
It
And
was
so
his way of penance.
Yeah, he
for
was
whatever
he was trying to
perceived.
make up for whatever perceived
Yeah.
evils that he felt he had committed.
Yeah.
Oh.
So moving on. So this building here, this is a museum we went to. It's part of the museum. This old man, I met this old man when I walked into the store, waiting for the tour to start, and he was one of those old men. Oh, I went to 1872. I went into a haunted hotel, and it was cool. I mean, he's literally talking like this, right?
Yeah.
So Lee, the guide, he tells us a story about this used to be like some kind of restaurant, if I'm remembering correctly, and the owner was killed saving his patrons from a drunken robber. The robber came in drunk, had his pistol out, and raised his pistol, was getting ready to start shooting everybody in there. Well, the owner of the establishment grabbed a knife, rushed him, and stabbed him a couple of times to stop him.
Mm.
However, he didn't manage to kill him before the shooter got shot him in the chest at point blank range. So they both died at the same time, right there on the floor.
Oh.
Ever since then, um, there were sightings of him looking at people out of the window. There was a guy that was hired to paint the top level here, and he came outside, saw the guy staring at him. He thought it was somebody, a real person that came in. He runs upstairs, doesn't see anybody, grabs his tools, packs his stuff up, leaves, calls the boss, and tells him, "You better find somebody else to do the job because I'm never coming back."
Mm.
I believed him. Well, during the day, they had an actor in there reenacting, pretending to be the guy that owned the bar, right? So some people went in, they met the guy, talked to him. They really enjoyed it so much that they went to the office. They went to the museum office to tell them, hey, how great their reenactor did, and really, give him a lot of praise to
Mm.
get him, a raise or whatever. And they looked at the guest and said, "What reenactor? We don't hire or use anybody to act in there."
Mm.
They were talking to the man's ghost
Right.
in real life,
Whoa.
right? So I'm listening to these things, and this old man took a photo. Now I took a photo. This is the only photo I took of that window because Lee told us to go ahead and take a photo.
Mm.
I took a photo, got nothing. This old man took a photo, and right here there was a man staring at us in the window, and you could see through him, and he was wearing a jacket, and you could see him. And behind here, the reason why it's black is there's curtains behind there. And when Lee told the story, both me, him, and 13 other people were staring directly up and taking photos of this.
Mhm.
This man was the only one that got that photo.
Mm.
Nobody else got it.
I
So
mean,
then,
I don't know about the ghost showing up at the moment that the people are doing the ghost tour. I don't know if I can believe that. I don't know if it could be a projection, like they doing this to make it on purpose, to
yeah,
make you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
how
so
how
you
how
want to sell it.
convenient, how convenient that he shows up right at that moment that you guys
No,
are there.
no, no, no. I get it. I understand. Because, before when the tour started, now I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes, and I'll explain who this
Mhm.
is. Lee, this is Lee. Lee was showing us photos of ghosts that prior attendees had taken. One of them looked like Samara from The Ring. And so even I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I believe this or not. This is a projection or whatnot. Just like you said with that building, that could just be a projection. This right here, sidebar, this is, I believe his name is Lincoln. I forget his last name, but his father is the sculptor of Mount Rushmore. He started it. His son, this is his son's grave. His son finished Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
All right. I thought that was pretty cool. So out of respect, I took a photo of that. This is this is where things started getting weird. When we got into the cemetery, and before I showed you this, myself and this other lady, we were standing again. There was 15 of us. We were all standing together, and there was about 5 people between me and this other lady. And I smelled something weird. It smelled like it was real strong, and it was like a hint of pine and a real earthy smell. Well, me and this other lady, we were the only ones that smelled it. Nobody else did. Because I went to open my mouth and we both said at the same time, we said, "What is that smell?" Nobody smelled it except for us. Not even Lee smelled it. And he was just like, "I don't know." Right. So I get to walking, and all of a sudden I smell it again, but this time it was stronger, as if somebody had took their hand and slapped me in the face with it. This light that you're seeing right here, see this? My phone was on night mode. And I don't know if you know what night mode means. It when you take a photo, it makes it looks like you took a photo during the day. You see this light right here?
Mm-hmm.
There was no light flashing the bus. And by the way, the bus, he had to get the driver to come back because she took off and she tried to leave us in the cemetery. He had to make her come back because apparently there's a few things that's happened in prior tours that spooked the hell out of her, and so she did not want to be there, and she tried to take off. That light, there was nothing there behind us shining. All of the lights were way in the back from here. That light, there was no source coming from the light. That wasn't coming from the bus,
I've seen
and
that kind of phenomena before.
yeah, and it eventually the light, while me and five other people were staring at it, the light evaporated. This is what it looks like because I took this. That's with night mode. That's without night mode from farther away. That light is way the heck, way far back. That's the bus. You can't see it because, of course, because of the way I had to do the presentation. But that's that same light right there. That's the bus. There's nothing shining that light there. That's when I really started that and the smells. That's when I really started wondering. You see this?
Mm-hmm.
I walked up and down this thing, and I did not know that this is the crossroads where Johnson allegedly made that deal with the devil. This is the very crossroads.
I could
This
have
is the
swore that
cemetery
wasn't
where
in
he did it.
Texas.
Nope. They said this is where he did it.
And how would they know that? Because as far as I know, he never disclosed the location to
That's
anybody.
that's something you'll have to ask them. But for some reason, they were able to confirm that's where he did it. That is the crossroads where he did it.
I think they made that up for the story, just for the point of the story being complete, and you know what I mean?
If I
Because
can
there's
finish,
really no
please.
way for them to know.
If I can finish, please.
I'm just commenting. Jesus,
Well,
chill.
I understand, but if you
We're
cut me off,
all
I'm gonna
commenting. We don't have
forget
to
what
be
I was gonna
silent.
say.
We don't have to be.
Anyway, if you're gonna, anyway, so what was I gonna say? So this cemetery is not the original cemetery where the bodies were. Unfortunately, the original cemetery where they had a lot of the bodies was in a flood zone, and they had a major flood, and all the bodies rose up. So it took them about 100 years to get around to actually taking the bodies out and moving them instead of having to try to re-put them back in the ground in the same place. Now, as for questions of whether or not I believed anything, I was skeptic. I was skeptical. Even with the smells and stuff, I was like, okay, this is weird, but it's also a cemetery. Maybe people's noses aren't as good. I don't know. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. There's a shadow right here.
Yeah, I see it.
And it was a
It looks
person
like somebody's
standing.
standing there.
It's a shadow of a person standing there. I took that photo. I didn't see this until I got back to my hotel. When I was looking, and I remember where I was standing, and there was another person standing over here next to me. There was nothing there when I took that photo. There was nothing there. So I can't say that they were lying or doing projections or anything because there was nothing that they could have projected to make that thing sit there. And by the way, two other people also took photo of shadow figures watching us. So I
Let me
wasn't the only one that got this photo.
let me ask you a question. These shadow figures, were they the kind that you see out of your peripheral, or were they like something you could like look directly at?
They were like something you could see out of your peripheral. A lot of them
Okay.
would only show up, through photographs and stuff like that. Some of the photos that Lee showed us before when we at the very start of the um of the tour, they were photos. When people took those photos, it was just straight up luck. They didn't even see. They didn't see until after they took the photo. Because Lee just told us, he said, "Hey, go ahead, feel free to start taking photos. You never know."
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because a lot of times, when people report seeing like shadow figures in the corner of their eye and whatnot, they're there, but they're not ghosts. They're of the kind of thing that was never human to begin with.
Regardless, whatever it was, them things were in that damn cemetery, and there's one of them right there. And I truly believe that one of them slapped me in the face with whatever that smell is, whatever it was, because the first time I just smelled it. The second time, I felt it was like somebody took their hand and slapped me in the face, and that smell was even stronger than it was the first time. And now I've got a photo of this figure.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where'd
yeah,
Amira
that
go?
is pretty cool. I think she's still here. She probably went to get some water or something.
And everybody, that concludes our tour. That includes, excuse me, that includes my ghost tour. So we can commit to where's Nomi?
I'm here.
Hi
She's
Nomi.
been listening.
I've been listening because I've been coughing, so I have it on mute so you guys won't have to hear me die.
Yeah, yeah. I concur, D-Day. Thanks to Larry for taking the tour so he could show us this, because this is pretty cool. This is a pretty special addition to the show here.
Well, I also found out today that apparently there are other ghost tours throughout the city. This entire city is freaking haunted.
Yeah, I believe it. A lot of people died there.
Did I get sage or sprinkled with holy water? Well, my daughter's name is Sage, so since my family hasn't moved down to where I'm at with me yet, I can't say I got saged. 'Cause I
Well,
can't roll my daughter.
you know what he means by that, though, right? It's
Well,
a
with sage,
yeah, yeah.
No.
what am
When
I
you
supposed to
burn
wear it around my neck like a
no,
rosary or something?
no, man, you burn it. You burn sage, and the smoke
Oh
is
yeah,
supposed to
that
drive
one.
spirits away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about because Lee brought that up too. Because
Mhm.
he said that they have had customers go through the tour and then go home or go back to their hotel rooms and then start reporting that something followed them home from the cemetery
Mhm.
and they saw them.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a baby exorcism. It's it's just the smoke is supposed to drive spirits away. I know there are people who won't move into a new house without saging it first, which is unfortunate because the sage smoke smells horrendous. It drives people away too. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it was creepy. I'm
It's
not
pretty
gonna lie.
wild. Yep.
That this city, I mean, there was so much deep, there was so much detail to this tour. If you guys are ever down in San Antonio, I suggest you take it. This man told us so much stuff. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. He he told us what Santa Ana did with the bodies that were, the people that were killed in the Alamo, and just how he was throwing the bodies in the water supply, the contaminated. Just that man was savage.
Mhm.
Mm.
Hi, Amira. We're done. Now you said you would like to discuss something.
What?
Yeah,
You said you wanted to talk without the PowerPoint and all that. We're done.
you did
Oh,
say
I wanted
that.
us to have a conversation. I thought we were gonna, I don't know, just have like a normal conversation about your tour thing, like about
Yeah.
the stuff. But no,
We're
it's
Yeah.
fine.
What do you
kind of
want to know?
we're kind of doing that right now.
The pictures were good. It's nice. So I'm ready to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Oh, fair enough. It is.
But it sounded really cool. It sounded cool.
Yeah. It is. It is get kind of late. It's coming up on midnight here in Mountain Time.
Yes, it is.
Are you guys getting tired yet, or how are you guys feeling?
Oh no, I'm good to go. I actually have another live stream I'm on at 1 in the morning.
Yeah,
What
I'm
are you
good to go
doing?
as well.
I got invited to a late night live stream. The reason it's late night is because half of the cast of that show is in Australia and England.
What is it about?
It's just a fun show where people talk about random subjects. It's called Beelzebub.
Beelzebub?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll have a look. I'll I'll be laying down, of course, but I'll have a look if you're there. Everybody, we should support Samuel and his endeavors. So, can you post like a link or something?
Yeah, I can find it. My this is on my friend's channel. Beelzebub. Devil made me do it. This will be his show. Nomi was on there last week.
I was.
Hey guys, be sure to support Nomi. Nomi, you put out a video the other day, didn't you? Oh no, or was that was Dames and Dorks?
Can you
Yeah,
put the
I
thank you.
live. I was live with Dames and Dorks last night. It was fun.
And as always, please be sure to support our lioness. She has an amazing channel, and she really cares, and she really does support us. You guys don't know how much she supports us. She supports Nomi. So she she doesn't like getting a lot of praise, but she does a lot behind the scenes that you guys don't know about.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I have to make my stupid face every time you say support me. I'm like, oh, thank you, Samael. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. Because when you say it, it doesn't sound right. Like, it doesn't sound like words. It's the pub. I don't know. All I heard was pub at the end, but I don't know what the first word is.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a pun on
Play on
Pornhub
words
and
type of thing.
Beelzebub, the demon.
Thanks, Clifton, my dark complected brother. Even though you use skin lightening cream.
I will come by. Samael. So you said at 1 o'clock Mountain Time it is?
Yeah. It's in about an hour and 10 minutes, give or take.
Hey,
is it Beelzebub with a B instead of a P?
Yeah, Beelzehub is the name of the channel. Beelzepub is the show because it's got a whole like bar theme.
Okay, I'm looking it up.
It's a pretty cool, excuse me, pretty cool intro.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey Sam, I'm sure Amira would fit in on that show, right? Maybe like a special appearance.
Possibly. They had Brian Roger Athe on there twice, and that man said some shit that I'm surprised didn't burn that channel down.
Yeah, he did that last week with me, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
I
good
don't
with.
think I can hang out.
I'm not good with many people. I don't know if I will fit in anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe check it out tonight and see how you feel about it. And if all that, I can't just tell you that you can go on because it's not my channel. But I could certainly put it out there if you were interested.
We'll see. I'll check you out tonight. I'll be there in the audience. I will even comment. I'll comment for you.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice.
Sam, by the way, have you spoken to Netter or what's his name?
Troy?
Yeah, Troy.
Not in a while. As far as I know, they're doing all right.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. I have to check them out. I wanted to see if Amir would be interested in going on their channel. You know how they love to promote. So
yeah, I think actually they did ask about that last time I did talk to them, and I'm pretty sure I passed that on. We haven't really been in touch. All that, but they're still doing their weekly stuff.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen them active or anything recently.
Richard,
it could be the holidays too.
I don't know. Usually, you would think that's the time when people are mostly active online because most people are home. It's cold outside. No one goes out much. And
Nope.
Yeah.
Troy's show is usually on right now. He comes on when we come on. Netter does her show on Thursdays, and Troy does his on Fridays, and then he does another one on Saturdays, around the same time that Sam does his shows. So that could be why we're not seeing as much of them, is because our shows are running side by side with theirs.
But they would always come after.
Yeah. When they finish up their shows, they had been coming over. I don't know. I'll reach out to them, see how they're doing.
All right.
I haven't talked to them in a while anyway. It's probably good to check in.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Guys, be sure to check
Bye.
out Exile Lioness 2 tomorrow. You can find us in the chat. You can also see some of your fellow current chat people right now. And like I said, Amira does outstanding work on her channel. You guys, please show up, support her. You will not be sorry.
I appreciate that advertisement. Thank you guys. And I do hope to see the majority of you guys tomorrow. We do have a good show planned up. Larry always gives us a list. Samael is always handling the back end. And I will be your host as always. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. A controversial topic again tomorrow. So see you
Ooh,
guys.
spicy.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah. Nomi, did you want to plug anything before we go?
Yeah. You can catch me on Monday, maybe, for the Game of Thrones stream with Ryan, and I will be on Roman of the Empire stream on this coming Thursday. We'll be talking about Christmas movies. I'm mainly on Twitter at Nomi Without You, and that's the best way you can find me.
Awesome sauce. And Larry, you have anything coming up you want to tell everybody?
Oh yes. So I've got some content ready. As soon as I figure out how to, it sounds stupid. As soon as I figure out how to add the sound effects to my stories, because I don't want to use OBS. I tried working with it, and it's just, I guess OBS is one of those things where you either like it or you don't, and I don't like it. So I'm looking for something else to use. That's pretty much what the holdup is at this point.
Talk to Sasquatch.
All right.
He
Well, I don't
is-
have his contact. You do. So
yeah,
I'll
I
have to do that
I
through
can pass
you.
that on to you. But yeah, talk to him because he's got a lot of different ways that he does stuff like that when he puts things together, and he'd be the first person I can think of off the top of my head to go to for that.
Probably Devil made me do it too.
Yeah, Devil puts a lot of work into what he does too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the plan. Well, you guys, stuff will come soon. It'll come as soon as I get this one issue taken care of.
All right. And for my part, you guys know the drill. I'm here on Fridays for Abyssal Musings, Saturdays for Screaming Into the Void, and this week on Star Trek Engage, we will be joined by Lily 300 Mirrors for the episode Court Martial. So that should be interesting and a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Otherwise, you can find me tomorrow night on Exiled Lioness 2, as she said, handling the back end. And then if I can make it, I was able to make it to all the regular shows that I'm supposed to make it onto during the week this week, but that's not always the case. It kind of depends on how late I end up having to work
Because life happens.
Yes, but if all goes well, I will be on Mellow Mondays on Monday on the Renaissance Nerds channel. Late Night Mayhem on Dermy Wormy's channel on Tuesday. And if I can at all swing it for a little while, at least like tonight, Friday Night's Royal Rumble on Legion Talk.
Hold on. Richard L. It's the Lioness Exile 2. She changed the name of it, so it's no longer Lioness Exile. It's the Exile Lioness 2.
I think he was joking.
Oh yeah, punk. Always doing. Go to the naughty corner, man.
We don't have one of those.
Looks like we're gonna have to need a naughty corner.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, thank you all for coming and for hanging out. This has been a great show, actually. I really enjoyed listening to Larry's Ghost Tour in particular. Thank you to Rogue Attraction and Amira and Shadow for stopping by and hanging out with us. And like I said, when I get some time, I will update the description with their channel information as well, so you can go check them out if you wish. That said, thank you all for coming. Have a great night, and remember, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras.
Bye.
See ya.
What is it you pray for?